Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 6 US heavy cruiser, the Pensacola again. This time we are playing on the map Strait, and it is a fully Tier 6 battle. I haven't played on this map for a long time, and I can remember immediately why I don't like it. There just isn't much cover between us and the enemy. All the cover is between the north and south side, but that's, having an island between you and your allies isn't very helpful. Having islands be between me and the enemy tends to be slightly more important. And because of that, ships like the Pepsi, which have very poor surface concealment, which is 12.4 kilometers, this is with concealment expert by the way, they get spotted from really far away, and because the armor isn't the greatest against everything she can run into, well, if you get the bad matchup, it's not great. However, this time the battleship is an Ismail, and the amazing 25mm bow and stern of the Pensacola are going to be enough to bounce those shells, which means that I don't really have to worry about it as long as I still angle. Obviously, HE spam and similar can be an issue, but hey, I'm gonna do damage to that nunbag as well, so it's kind of fair game that she can actually fire back at me, right? Although, it would really help if I could actually hit the ship properly. So it seems that their destroyers are giving cover. So it's the Fubuki and the Gede. I guess I'll just try to hit the destroyers then, because we do eventually have to take care of them. I do have Hydro, so I'm not too worried about the DDs, because they don't have the greatest torpedo range at this tier anyway, and my Hydro is plentiful for me. I'm most likely able to avoid all the torps. Come on, Fubuki! Oh, never mind. I thought that seemed better than it actually ended up being. I thought that was gonna be like 3k damage, but fine. 1800 it is. So right now, I want to stay further away. I mean, look at the minimap, right? As you can see, sure, our Gede is really far forward, etc., but the only other ships we have over here are the Mitsu and the Pensacola. And I guess the Västerås, but the destroyer doesn't really matter here. The DD isn't gonna fight. Except the DD might spot the enemy DD, which just happened. And this actually makes the Västerås very, very important suddenly. Just like that. Because I don't think the Fubuki would have sailed close enough to me, normally, but she did to the DD, and as a result I think we might be able to sink her. Especially now that she actually fired her guns. Okay, I mean, sure, 900 damage, but I'm sure we'll do a proper follow-up. Or the DD will. Also, notice that this is a double CV match. It's not the most fun thing you can run into. Luckily, the CV hasn't been harassing me much. By the way, our Pensacola is down already. So it's just me, the Mitsu, and the Västerås. Sadly, the Fubuki did get away, but it's a double CV game. I'm sure one of the CVs will accidentally fly over her at some point in the future. But right now, I think being defensive is still the right course of action at the moment. And as long as we can keep shooting at the DDs, I think everything is alright. Oh, there's the Fubuki, come on! I tried different types of salvos on the Fubuki, although for some reason it fired all the rest with the second button. Anyway, I really want to take care of one of the DDs, because even a low HP destroyer is very, very dangerous. Okay, never mind, the Ranger did it. Thank you, Ranger. Now, I'm thinking maybe I should turn around. If we can take care of that nunbag, I think this might actually be a good idea. Ooh! If we can take care of the Gede, then this removes basically the entire threat over there. Yes! We did it! So now, all I need to do is turn around, and if I keep my nose pointed towards the Ismail, I'm gonna be very, very well off. Because the worry with the destroyer around is that I can point my nose most likely against one of them, the Nürnberg or the Ismail, even when I'm dodging torpedoes etc. from the DD. But as I would get closer, I think it's less and less likely that I will be able to angle against both of them at the same time, and thus the Nürnberg might be able to punish me. That's why I really wanted to take care of the Nürnberg, but if we can remove the destroyer, that removes the threat or need to dodge in the first place. Ooh, and I think we might actually have removed the Nürnberg itself as well, because she only has 1500 HP. Only takes like 1 or 2 Aerroon shells to finish her off at this point. And there she goes. Excellent. By the way, match-wise, the enemy is getting... they're not winning, okay? To put it nicely. Here you can see the bow. So, as I've explained, the bow of the Pensacola is 25 millimeters. This and the Ismail's guns are, I think, 340 or 356 or something like that. It's not a high caliber, it's not 380 millimeters, for example. And this means that if you divide that number by 14.3, you get the millimeters that those AP shells can overmatch. In this case, it is not enough to overmatch the bow armor of the Pensacola. This means that as long as I keep my bow pointed towards the Ismail shells will simply bounce off of it. And this makes the Pensacola very, very tanky, because basically only battleships at this tier have this kind of bow armor.
Torpedoes to port.
And it's not just the bow, by the way, it's also the side armor plates and the stern and the deck armor as well. It's quite unusual for a tier 6 cruiser, and you'll see it in action as the Ismail fires at me many, many more times here. Essentially all I need to do is... I can go even at a slight angle. In fact, it's slightly better to go at the slight angle, but just I have to make sure that she can't hit my citadel. And as you just saw there, that was only 1100 or 1050 or something like that damage. Basically nothing at all. A full broadside from a battleship from less than 6 kilometers away. On the other hand, if that had been like a Warspite with her 381 guns, probably would be dead already. The Ranger is coming, so I'm gonna launch my fighter plane. The Ismail is lining up for another shot. Now, you might notice one thing though. 1050 damage again. Anyway, you might notice one thing. I'm not exactly doing much damage in return, and that is due to the fairly nice Soviet armor scheme. The lower tier Soviet ships, and the German ones by the way, have lots of these armor plates. It's not an all or nothing armor scheme, which means that HE isn't quite as effective as it is against higher tier battleships, or battleships like New Mexico for example. Then again, the Ismail isn't doing anything to me either, so who cares really, right? I think I should just try AP at this point, especially now that she's actually showing me broadside and I'm close enough.
Our victory is in sight.
I mean, it hasn't been an amazing game for me, right? Like, we won too quickly. However, I just really wanted to show just how tanky the Pensacola can be against ships like the Ismail. The other ships that do this, that would essentially suffer the same fate, would be the Fuso, the New Mexico, whatever the Royal Navy battleship is at this tier, I can't remember. Congo, for example, Texas, etc. You know, basically any ship that doesn't have 380mm guns, well, battle or higher. This means that as long as you're not up tiered, there's a good chance that you are a very, very big pain in the ass for battleships. So right now, I'm shooting at the CV, and I'm kinda not sure whether I should fire AP or HE. The answer most likely is HE, because as you can see, AP just overpens the Ranger at 8 kilometers, whereas HE gets citadels. Come on, let's go! Oh, come on! Seriously? 1000 damage missing? Oh well, we still won. And actually ended up doing over 100k damage, even though only a few minutes before the end I was at like 50k. but once I found a softer target, easy. 12 citadels, by the way, most of them with HE against that CV. And this puts me comfortably at number 1, 1900 base XP. That Vasteros though, that guy helped me quite a lot this game. Or Vasteros? I don't know how to pronounce that one. Yeah, I actually ended up dealing more damage to that ranger than the Ismail over all of that time. But then again, you know, the Ismail didn't exactly do much damage to me in return, right? Just check this out. 27 AP shells on my Pensacola for 13,000 damage. That's less than 500 damage per shell. He probably should have switched to HE. I mean, the Nürnberg did more damage with her HE shells than the Ismail did with AP. Think about that one. When a battleship fires 27 AP shells at you, usually they end up dealing quite a lot more damage than this. So Pensacola, when handled well against the right targets, is fairly tanky. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.